Okay, so let's do your $1 million math. You've heard of reverse engineering. I hear about it every day on social media, and nobody is reverse engineering their money. They're like, I want to go to Mars. Reverse engineer it. Good. Why don't we just reverse engineer something you got to use right now, right here on planet Earth? Money. Okay? How do I get to $1 million? And there are a lot of ways to get to $1 million. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see my target. This is my target. How long do I have? I have 90 days to do it. What is my product? Don't even need it yet. Everybody's like, oh, what am I good at? What can I do? Let's do some basic math, all right? How many different ways, and this is going to help you start thinking about money in a much more simple way, okay? How many ways are there to $1 million? Well, there's one. What could I do? I could take one person, or $1. I could do that 1 million times. Now, I did this exact strategy when I got to Pueblo. When I found out I was going to Pueblo, Colorado, I sat down with a piece of paper. I said, okay, I can sell $1, a $1 product 1 million times. That's $1 million. Second thing I could do is I could sell a $10 product 100,000 times and get to $1 million. The problem was in Pueblo, there's only 112,000 people. So I'm like, I would have to literally hit every single person in Pueblo in 90 days. That's impossible. So I actually started eliminating possibilities for myself, okay? Many people have so many options, they never take one path because there's so many different options. I could take a $100 product. I don't even know what the product is yet. Sell 10,000 people. That means I need to sell 10% of the Pueblo marketplace. I don't have time to hit that many people in 90 days. Oh, I could do a $1,000 product. This is, by the way, again, how I came up with my pricing on Undercover Billionaire and hit a $5.5 billion valuation in 84 days, not 90 days. A $1,000 product, if I do that 1,000 times, how do I get 1,000 contracts in 90 days? I know how long and how hard it is to get a contract. How do I do that? Okay, I could change my price to $10,000. That could be for a product or a service. Starts giving me ideas about what I could actually do. Hit only 100 people. That becomes actually easier for me to do than the other choices. Or I could do a $100,000 product. Find 10 people in Pueblo, Colorado in 90 days, and I was freaking on fire. I'm like, wow, that is actually possible. I could do that. Now, that is one way to do $1 million math. If you're not having to do it in 90 days, and I want you to do this exercise with me, let's talk about, these are sales, products, services, offers, some kind of contract, or it could be this. It could be income. You could actually take income and I say, okay, and this is just a mental game that I'm playing with myself called reverse engineering on money. $50,000 over 20 years is $1 million, okay? I don't want to wait 20 years. Good, so what do you got to do? Now I know how to look for a job. For those of you in college right now, you're in high school and you're like, I want to go make money. You know one thing, you don't exactly know what you want to do. Maybe you're like I was when I got out of college, had no clue what to do, but I'm like, I want to make some money. $100,000 in 10 years, okay, is $1 million. Okay, how about this? $250,000 a year. I got to go to work to Facebook. I got to go work for Facebook to do this. 4 years, I got $1 million. Might make sense, might not. But remember, none of this counts taxes. Okay? If you live in California, you could take at least 40% of that number, divide your 1 million by 0.40. Let me see if that's right. If I divide $1 million, I think this is the right way to do it. Yeah, I actually need to make divided by the tax rate, I need to make $2.6 million to net out $1 million. I think that's right, times 0.60. Yeah, it's the other way. So I'd actually take the difference, but it's a little complicated because it's the taxes, but you're going to get taxed, you're going to spend money. This is gross numbers. The point I'm making to you is this is gross income, and gross income does not include your cost of living and your taxes, okay? Now, why am I telling y'all this? We're going for a gross number here. Is there something going to be taken out of that? Yes, for certain. The longer you take, the more your expenses are going to be. The shorter you take, the more your taxes are going to be. You got to include also the influence of time and repetition, okay? Time. Can I keep this going for 10 or 20 years? Do you even have 20 years? Remember what I said in the first video. The shorter the runway, the shorter their time, the more compressed the time is, the better off you're going to be, okay? Now, let me go to one other model that a lot of people don't include. If you took the first scenario that I gave you, remember number 4 back here. I'm going to take number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This one right here. And I simply added a multiplier. We talk about this in the 10x rule. The 10x rule is about multiplication, not adding and subtracting. If I took number 4, $1,000, and I took that $1,000 product and I now put it on a contract for 12 months, simply added a service with recurring revenue, I only need 83.33 customers to achieve this. Now, I know based on the earlier reversed engineering on my finances, that when I got to 100 closes, 100 deals, 100 contracts, I got excited. I'm like, I could actually pull that off in Pueblo. 83, I'm in the zone now. This is 12 times faster and more effective than my first choice in reverse engineering. I'm just giving you a lot to think about. You should go back and watch this. Remember, 1,000 people, $1,000 times 1,000 people. Okay? Now I only need, is that right, Jared? Let me just be sure. I went from 1,000 contracts now down to 83 contracts. That's 12 times faster. Is that right? 12 times or 14 times faster? Yeah, 12 times faster. So you now, using reverse engineering math, you get to pick the model. That model would then tell you, is it a service or is it a product? If you're raising money, if you're philanthropy and you're like, I need to raise $1 million in 90 days, maybe that $1 million is based on a recurring revenue model where 83 people are paying you $1,000 a month to your charity. We have a charity, Grant Cardone Foundation. People are like, how do you guys raise so much money there? Okay, well, first of all, the purpose is good. Second of all, we've reversed engineered the math. I look for 83 people to give me $1,000 a month for the next 12 months. If I could find 83 people out of 8 billion people on the planet, okay, that's pretty good. I don't even know what it's got to be 0.0000001%. If I can just find 83 people, now I know where to focus my message. I'm looking for 83 people to pay the Grant Cardone Foundation that helps kids without parents pay $1,000 a month, 12 months in a row. I will raise $1 million, and with that $1 million, I can get to 100,000 children and teach them the simplicity of financial literacy. The point here is keep it simple. The simplicity here is the genius. The people that are wealthiest on this planet are not the smartest. They're not the most complex. In fact, they probably got the worst grades. They're C-level players, and they got A-level teachers working for them, okay? The simplicity here is to do the math. There's many ways to hit your target. You got to exclude the ones that you can't get to. This becomes your business plan. Do you want or have the time to find 1 million customers? I doubt it, not in 90 days. Obviously, it's easier to sell one person one time. One person gives me $1 million. That's going to be harder to pitch, harder to pull off, particularly if you're no one, but that would be easier. One person giving you 1 million would actually be easier than you ever meeting 1,000 people in 90 days to give you money, okay? All right? So I don't want to teach you how to beg here, even though I'm willing to. I got to eat again tomorrow. You will too, so will your kids, your family. When I did this show, I didn't have to feed my family. I just had to feed myself. But most importantly, I had to stay focused on my target. Okay, I'm always begging or hustling for the next meal, willing to do that, humble enough to do that. Okay, grovel, beg, plead, borrow, whatever, but that's not a business plan. Okay, we got to get repetition and we got to get recurring revenue in there. Number of customers, last thing, number of customers, the number of customers. This is the formula. The number of customers times the price of your product or service times time, particularly recurring time, okay, recurring investments, monthlies, equals the attainment of your target, okay? When you do this over long periods of time, over your lifetime, that target will be the ultimate thing that we're all working for. And that is what I call vitamin F. And vitamin F stands for freedom. Let's go get yours.